welcome everybody to the book study on Rollo Tomassi's book, The Rational Male, Dating Meetups, and the Nonpartisan Red Pill Men's Group. And so what we're doing here is a book study. And so I've got this chapter on non-exclusivity, or this section, and it's a little long for a reading, so I've highlighted parts that I'm going to read from the book, but I'm also going to put up the screen with the text so that we can look at the text as well. But I'm going to be skipping through, not reading every word. And then we will just open it up for discussion and have a good time. I'm just going to share this little story here. And then we'll go ahead and go. So you cannot help we're talking about non-exclusivity, which is, he calls a part of plate theory, which basically says that it's basically dating non-exclusively. So the following was posted with permission. Hi, Rollo. My name is Akash, and I am a big fan of your posts. They're always lucid, logical, and insightful. I discovered the community about 5 months ago after yet another failed relationship characterized by highly average frustrated chump behavior on my part. I ended it with a tremendous amount of guilt as I felt that because she was a good person, I ought to have made it work even though I wasn't in love with her. I'm 27 years old. Based on your post, I would really appreciate your advice on 2 issues. How to make the best use of my impending return to school in May for second undergrad, and how to overcome the cognitive dissonance I feel about pursuing women outside the confines of a committed relationship, as I still suffer from social conditioning that tells me that I will hurt women by pursuing primarily sexual relationships with them, and so it is immoral to do so. Well, I don't know why he published all the other stuff, but I think it's not necessarily sexual only. You have these relationships with women and you're having sex. It's not exclusive. Doesn't mean it's not emotional. Doesn't mean it's not meaningful. Doesn't mean you're not having a loving relationship. Doesn't mean it's not affectionate. Doesn't mean you're not friends. All right, so I'm just going to read some of these parts to you. The problem arises when they spin enough plates successfully to the point where they think they've maxed out to their best option, and the old beta mindset of the scarcity mentality returns. Most times, the guy who newly practices game and plate spinning never really spins plates per se. He uses it for the first monogamous opportunity that's been eluding him for so long and calls it quits. So he never actualizes and internalizes an abundance mentality. Spinning plates doesn't necessarily mean you're having sex with all of your plates. This isn't as difficult as it sounds once you've established your own resolve to be non-exclusive. This means not shacking up with a woman, not sleeping into any routine with her, and not calling her more than necessary to set up another sporadic date, saving your weekends for women who've had a proven interest level in you, i.e., sex or physical intimacy, and relegating those who haven't to Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So this week, I have a date Tuesday. I will probably have a date Wednesday and Thursday, and I have dates lined up for Friday and Saturday. So I can see why he says this, because that's sort of how I feel. I was telling a woman, hey, this match on match.com, that I'm not going to commit to you on the 3rd date. The idea is that we're going to get around to sex on the 3rd date. And so I'm not going to commit to her on the third date. It's kind of like, where is this coming from that they think that you should commit to him, you know, just to have sex with him? Okay, we don't have to have sex. We don't have to have sex. And so the women who tend to have sex, who have shown an interest in you, I tend to want to date them. And if I'm going to date a woman who I'm not having sex with, the dates have to be more economical. So monogamy is a byproduct, not a goal. So only when you're properly filtered through enough plates to understand how options play into confidence and controlling the frame you enter into a committed monogamy with is imperative to the health of that relationship. Frame is sort of a word that they use to describe that the woman enters your frame. And the only way I can sort of explain is the woman enters your world, right? You're the one she wants. If she wants, you have to have the life that the woman wants to join in on and participate in. Um, and it's not the other way around. If the woman is telling you what to do, see these guys following these women around. Sometimes women do that, you know. Um, you know, thank you, Jay, for helping us out because I don't know why, but anyway. So, any case, so internalize an intentional ambiguity about women, he says. I don't want, I only highlighted that. Allow her to discover this by your mannerisms, your behaviors, and definitively by your availability to her. He says women communicate covertly with gestures, with looks, with veiled meanings. You have to communicate your intent to be non-exclusive covertly. Never overtly tell a woman you've got the other plate spinning. I make that mistake, but it doesn't seem to hurt the relationship too much. But I do tell other women that I'm dating other women. How can you not tell other women? And then the question comes, who are you dating? How many women are you dating? All those questions come. He's telling us here, don't respond to those questions. You're more covert about it, but I'm not sure that you really can be. Um, and I tend to, this woman I went out with Friday, I had the whole long discussion with her, you know, and still she wants to go out with me on Friday. So, anyway, um, create value through scarcity. Don't be so available to her, but just enough to keep her interest and allow her mind to consider that maybe you have other options, even when you don't. So there you go, guys. Even when you don't, you can still act like it. Even the ambivalent confidence that comes from knowing you have a past proven ability to generate more sexual options for yourself will manifest itself in your personality and trigger this competition anxiety, which he says is critical to maintaining women's sexual interest. They want what other women want, that anxiety is sort of otherwise they get bored if they're too secure. They seek security, and then when they get it, they're bored, and the guy's, not appealing to them anymore. Like I told this woman, the moment you commit is the moment she's going to start looking for someone better. Just by nature, not consciously, just by nature. You can, of course, take the coward's path and just agree to exclusivity with her, but in doing so, you will lose all options. She becomes the broker for your options and sexuality, and you lose power. Whereas before, you were in control of your sexual availability. Again, this seems counterintuitive, but your attention will either widely increase in her value of it, or she'll simply bug out, in which case it wasn't worth pursuing. And I don't know what she's talking about here. And it says confidence is derived from options. It's not a numbers game. It's a non-exclusivity name. There is no quality woman. That's an idealization. You don't find the perfect woman. You make the perfect woman. The point is to mold yourself and any woman who you do exclusively end up with into your own frame. So it's not total non-exclusivity. You can be exclusive at some point, but that's but it's a for I'm thinking now in some ways because of this feature that women would rather share a high value man than be stuck with a faithful loser. That if I'm in the top 20%, whatever percent, I don't know if that's actually, they're saying that women are only really dating the top 20% and that 80% of the guys are not really getting a whole lot of action. And but the guys who are like the 1%, he can't keep his pants on, you know, 5% guys, the 1% are probably working in the industry, having sex with women for money, and 5%, yeah. So if I'm in that category, if I'm in one of those categories, um, maybe non-exclusivity is better. Why should I commit to any one woman if I could be dating 5 or 6, right? And that may be better in the long term and more likely. I mean, I have some women that, just like they said, they'd rather share a high value man than be stuck with a a guy who's faithful and good, but doesn't really do it for him. So let's open it up to discussion. It seems like Jay is doing a good job. Thank you, Jay. And I'm sorry about all the interruptions that we've had.
How do you define the high value guy? I mean, what does 1%, 5% mean? Is it net worth? Just
No,
physical looks?
it's a combination of everything. Um, so it comes from the dating apps, the statistics on dating apps of how many guys are actually getting hit. I mean, that's one of the statistics they show. But the theory from Rollo Tomassi and others are the idea and which is really an accumulation of experience and behavior shows that this is how women are. Um, but the dating apps show that they're only really selecting 80% of the guys are getting nothing. So that can show you some things, but really when you look over time, I mean, we think back to when women were in harems, right? And we have this idea that they were oppressed and chattel and all this stuff. But I guarantee you those women wanted to be in that harem. And they wanted to be in that harem because it was about survival and that guy could provide the money for them. But here, they talk about the sixes, 6-figure income, 6 horsepower car, 600 horsepower car, 6 inches in the past, 6-figure income, you know, um, and then the
Never heard that
appearance,
one.
yeah, and then the chiseled jaw, and the physique, all of that comes into what is called it's a sexual market value, which is what we Rollo Tomassi has shown this graph. Women have their highest value in their 20s, in the sexual market. Men's sexual market value peaks in their 30s, after they've become established or something. So it's really a combination of attractiveness and resources um, and security because women are survival creatures. And this is what Casey Zander says. Women have had to survive, and all of their nature and their sexual behaviors come from that. And that's why women can switch in wartime. They find that, like in Ukraine, the guys go off the war, the women go out, leave. If they have children, then they have children. But if they're single, you know, there's another guy down the line, and maybe they go find another guy, and that is because, if a guy got killed in war, when they had a war, they took the women. And so women had to change alliances and change um, groups to different men at the spur of the moment. So that was for survival purposes. But I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, I guess. But I mean, yeah, it does. But still, you don't know why the 20% of guys on dating sites are getting all the likes, because from there they don't know what your financial resources are. All they're doing is looking at a picture.
Yeah, oftentimes, well, not necessarily, because they do look at the picture first, but you do have a profile. And one of the things I think is might affect the things on dating apps is that a lot of guys have terrible pictures and terrible profiles. And that's one thing I've thought about talking. You put yourself, get professional photographs, and talk about things that women might be interested, that men don't really think women could be interested. They want to know you're a leader. They want to know about your community activities. They want to know about your hobbies. They want to know about what if you're what your status is. They're looking for symbols of status and also wealth, but they can tell fakeness, but also they're looking at women classify men by their occupations. I might classify a woman by her race or her, if I have to put, like I have two Kims, I have, uh, I have, and they're different races. So that's how I distinguish them. I don't know their last name yet. Actually, haven't really gotten to that. But yeah, so they classify us by occupations. And so some information is in the profile. You put together a good profile, you're going to get more likes, more hits than the average male profile, which has a terrible picture and guys, and it says the same thing. Women go from one profile to another saying the same thing. So that may have an impact on that. But it's the behavior that has grown. He's telling us that the quality woman is a myth. It's an idealization. You know, he says that the good woman is simply the bad woman who hasn't been caught. They've all got a history. They all have done one night stands. They've had threesomes. They've gone to strip clubs. They have all had sexual experiences far beyond what we do because they have much more opportunity. And so we have to create that opportunity for ourselves. And the first thing to recognize is our value as
I'm
men.
suspicious of professional photographs. So when I see those, I usually skip right over it because I figure those are scammers.
Well, I think that you may be talking about, well, there's the glamour shot that women take, and sometimes there are models, right? Models that are really beautiful women, and that is a scammer. But what I'm talking about is just going to a professional photographer, getting different changes of clothes, and taking different pictures, and get yourself a good picture. Don't put a crappy picture up there. You know, get yourself a good picture because yeah, you see a professional, but is she a model? If she's a model, yes. But if she's just you or a normal woman, then it's not like, she's showing. A lot of women will show pictures without makeup, pictures with makeup. They sort of seem to want to do that.
These scammers are getting so sophisticated. I had an experience last week, which is unbelievable. I
Mm,
mean, she almost got me. I was suspicious, but she almost got me. We chatted for almost the whole day. She was telling me how much she loved me, which immediately red flag. What do you mean you love me?
mm,
We just met.
right.
Um, she sent me. She says, "Check your door. I have a surprise for you." And she was presumably was in where was she in Florida? I forget. Anyway, I said, "What do you mean check my door?" She called Domino's and had chicken wings sent to my door.
Hmm.
It's like, so I was like, "Well, now is this lady for real?" Oh, and by the way, she sent me a picture of herself with my name, Matt, end the date, I'm real, holding it up like this. And I said, can you do the same for me so I know you're real? And I said, fine. I wrote on a piece of paper my name, the date, and I said, hi, Doris, I'm real too.
Yeah.
So she went through all this stuff. And make a long story short, she wanted to get together for a visit, and I'm like, oh, she lived in I forget, but it doesn't matter. It was distant, and
Yeah.
I was like, I'll tell you what, you fly here to visit me, and the weekend's on me. I'll pay for, I said, look, you can stay with me. I have a one bedroom.
Yeah.
I'm perfectly capable of having you sleep in my bed. I won't touch you. I mean,
Yeah.
when my sister and I go on a trip, sometimes the only room we can get is a queen, and I sleep in the same bed with my sister. I don't touch my sister. Okay, I
Yeah.
love my sister, not in that way. So you're perfectly welcome to come here and stay with me if you want. Hotel nearby, whatever you want. She said, "I'm going to pay to fly there."
Yeah.
So, yeah, oh, I see. I should send you a check for the flight. Yeah, okay. But this was like a day effort. I mean, this lady, if she just put her sales skills to good use,
Hmm.
she'd make a fortune selling cars or something. I
Yeah.
can't believe she put in that much effort to try and scam me out of an airline ticket.
Well,
That's not a very good hourly rate. That's really bad business idea.
a lot of women, they say, young women particularly, their options, people will fly them out to Dubai. They will fly these young girls, once they turn 18, these are the options young women are getting. And I've had, the moment I've had some women contact me on Facebook, not so much on the dating apps, but on Facebook. And
Mhm.
I just it becomes pretty clearly they're just trying to get information for you. They say, where are you from? They want to get your birth location, your birth date. And so I just nowadays like you said, if it's some beautiful woman contacting me on Facebook, I'm like highly suspicious.
Right,
Why does she need to contact me on Facebook? You know,
right.
well,
That's
what's
right. If the girl is really good looking, it's a scam because a really good looking girl does not have to be on a dating app. When
right?
I work out at my club, I like watching the guys watching the girls more than I like watching the girls. It's amazing. I mean, unbelievable. This
Yeah,
one girl in tight whatever, her thing is painted on, the whole camel toe thing going on. And every single guy that walked past this woman, every single one was all over her with her eyes.
you got to
And
not do that. Yeah,
she 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 has options. She has 20 options an hour.
yeah. Right, that's right. 20 options an hour. Yeah, it's
You know what
crazy.
I do? I just close my eyes when these women walk past me because I'm out. I close my fucking eyes and I listen. I have my headset on and I use a ski machine which simulates cross country skiing, and I just transport myself back to a beautiful trip I had to Norway once, a
Yeah.
10-day skiing trip, and I can just get lost in that. And I don't even want to give them the pleasure of staring at them.
So, hey, if anybody else wants to chime in, raise your hand. This is obviously a volatile issue. So a lot of people, have these issues with dating non-exclusively. I guess even people who are into porn apparently have some issues with dating non-exclusively. So I know people aren't really used to it and don't understand a lot of what it is. Um, but it's not exploiting women, it's not using women. It's just, well, first of all, it's dating women, right? It's dating women. You're not necessarily like you go on Match, you date one woman you set up a date with Friday night, and another woman you set up a first meeting with Saturday night. That's dating non-exclusive. You're not having sex with either of them. It's the first meeting, you know. But it also is, like I said, coming to a point where, hey, if women are going to behave the way, if women are going to behave the way they behave, in other words, sharing men, which is what's happening now, um, only going for the hottest men, feeling entitled to men's money and and to only the best of men. And if they're willing to do that, if that's how they actually are, then we're not a monogamous species. Polygamy is the rule. and monogamy is the exception.
What did you say
And
someplace in the
well,
past about monogamy being earned rather, right? Monogamy is earned. I mean, I would be willing to offer monogamy to a woman if she met all my needs. But I'm 67. I only have so many years left. How am I supposed to find this on a serial basis?
yeah,
You can't.
yeah. That's how I feel too. You need to, and also you can't find a good woman. You can't find the best woman that you can find if you don't date a lot. If you just hook up with one, just because she's willing to have sex with you, then
Right.
you're gonna be on that what I call the one guy at a time train ride. You're on,
That's
you're
right.
off. One may last for a month, the next one, and then you're going to have these gaps in between when and so it's
Right.
better to keep the ball rolling. Like just recently, I got a little nervous, certain women aren't calling me, others are pulling away, in one way or another. So I said, okay, it's time to start regenerating leads. And so now I've got overwhelmed with some. I got the date Tuesday, Wednesday, probably Wednesday and or Thursday, and then Friday and Saturday. So so I start generating more leads. And once you are able to do that, once you're able to do that, it gives you a lot more confidence.
Everybody knows Trump's going to leave office just like he did the last time.
If you count the legal votes, I easily win. If you count the illegal votes, they can try to steal the election from us. Because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength and you have to be strong. We go to 24. Did you see it? Then it says 28, 32, 36, 40, 44. And you know what's very interesting, though? There are really people out there think I'm not leaving. Can you believe it?